Time is the single most valuable resource you will ever have, yet it is the one thing people waste the most. Money, possessions, opportunities, these can all be regained, but time, once it's gone forever. Every second you let slip through your fingers is a second you will never get back, and the difference between those who succeed and those who fail is how they treat their time. Most people walk through life like they have an infinite supply of time. They scroll endlessly, watching meaningless content, playing games, gossiping, and distracting themselves with anything that keeps them from facing reality. They tell themselves they'll start tomorrow, they'll change next week, they'll chase their goals when they're ready. But that's the lie that keeps them weak. Because the truth is, there is no tomorrow, there is only now, and what you do in this moment defines the rest of your life. Look at the most successful people in the world. Do you think they treat time casually? Do you think they sit around waiting for the perfect moment? No, they move with urgency. They understand that every hour wasted is an hour their competitors are using to get ahead. They don't wait for motivation. They don't wait for conditions to be perfect. They take action now. And yet the average person lives like they have time to spare. They think they can afford to procrastinate. But time is not something you spend, it's something you invest. Every decision you make is either an investment in your future success or a guarantee of your future failure. If you are not using your time wisely, if you are not putting in the effort now, you are making a conscious choice to remain where you are. The problem with most people is that they don't feel the urgency of time slipping away. They assume they have years to figure things out, but one day they wake up and realize they're stuck in the same place they were 5 years ago. They wonder why they haven't made progress, why they're still broke, why they still haven't achieved what they wanted. It's because they spent their days waiting instead of acting. They let distractions control them, they let laziness win, and they wasted time they can never get back. The harsh reality is that the world doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care if you were tired, if you didn't feel like it, if you were waiting for the right time. Time keeps moving whether you use it wisely or not. And the people who understand this, they dominate. They get ahead. Because while others are wasting time, they are building, learning, growing. There is no such thing as standing still in life. You are either moving forward or you are falling behind. If you are not using your time to improve, someone else is, and they will pass you. You might think you can catch up later, but that's another lie. Every second you waste now puts you further behind. The difference between winners and losers is not intelligence, luck, or talent, it's discipline. It's the ability to recognize that time is the most precious thing you have and treating it with the respect it deserves. The moment you start acting like every second matters, your entire life changes. You stop making excuses, you stop waiting, and you start creating results. So ask yourself right now, how have you been using your time? Have you been investing it in building the life you want, or have you been wasting it on distractions that will mean nothing in a year? Because whether you realize it or not, you are making that choice every single day. And the scariest part? You can never get those lost seconds back. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to knock on your door and hand you success. No one will pull you out of the mess you've created for yourself. If you're sitting around waiting for someone to fix your problems, you will be waiting forever. The harsh truth is that everything in your life is your responsibility, whether you like it or not. Most people refuse to accept this. They want to believe that one day someone will come along and give them the life they dream of. They think the government, their family, or some miracle will change their situation. They blame their circumstances, their upbringing, or bad luck for their failures. But blaming external factors is the easiest way to guarantee that nothing ever changes. The moment you blame something outside yourself, you are giving away your power. You are saying that you have no control, that you are just a victim of life. And victims don't win. The people who succeed in life are the ones who take full responsibility for everything, good or bad. They don't sit around complaining about how unfair life is. They don't waste time making excuses. They look at their situation, accept it, and then do something about it. They understand that no one is coming to save them, so they save themselves. This is where most people fail. They spend years waiting for motivation, waiting for help, waiting for the right time. But life doesn't wait. Every second you waste hoping for someone else to fix your life is a second you could have used to start fixing it yourself. If you are struggling financially, no one is going to hand you money. You have to learn, you have to work, you have to create opportunities. If you are out of shape, no one is going to drag you to the gym. You have to take control, get up, and put in the work. If you lack skills, knowledge, or discipline, no one is going to teach you unless you make the effort to learn. The truth is, the world is indifferent to your struggles. No one cares how hard your life has been. No one cares about your excuses. The only thing that matters is whether or not you take action. The longer you sit around expecting someone to save you, the more time you waste. And time is the one thing you can never get back. This is why people stay stuck. They refuse to accept that their situation is their own doing. They live in denial, making up excuses about why they can't change. But the moment you truly understand that everything in your life is a result of your choices, you gain power. Because if your choices created your problems, then your choices can also solve them. The difference between successful people and failures is not intelligence, talent, or luck. It's mindset. It's the understanding that no one is responsible for your success except you. No one is obligated to give you anything. No one is coming to push you forward. It's up to you to get up, to work, to struggle, and to fight for what you want. You already know this deep down. You already know that waiting for help is pointless. You already know that your life will stay the same unless you take action. The question is, are you going to do something about it, or are you going to keep waiting for someone to come and save you? Because if that's your plan, you will be waiting for the rest of your life. Tomorrow is a lie. It's the most dangerous illusion people believe in, the single biggest excuse that keeps them weak, broke, and unfulfilled. The idea that you can start later, that you have time to waste, is the greatest deception you tell yourself. Because the truth is, time is ruthless. It moves forward whether you're ready or not. And every second you delay is a second lost forever. Procrastination is the killer of dreams. It destroys potential more than failure ever could. People tell themselves they'll start their business next month, get in shape next year, change their life when the time is right. But the time is never right. It never will be. That's the trick your mind plays on you, to make you feel comfortable where you are, to convince you that you have infinite chances. You don't. The world is full of people who once had ambition. They had plans, goals, and dreams, but they kept pushing things off. They thought they had time, and before they knew it, years had passed and nothing had changed. Now they live with regret, looking back on all the wasted opportunities, all the moments they could have taken action but didn't. You think tomorrow is guaranteed, but it's not. Every single day, someone takes their last breath. Someone had plans for the future, but didn't make it. And yet people act like they're immortal, like they have unlimited time to sit around, waiting, hesitating, and doing nothing. The successful understand this. They don't wait for motivation. They don't wait for some magical moment where everything aligns perfectly. They move now. They understand that action is what creates results, not wishful thinking. The difference between winners and losers is simple. Winners act, losers wait. The biggest mistake people make is believing that small delays don't matter. They think, I'll start tomorrow, but tomorrow turns into next week, then next month. Then years later, they're still in the same place, making the same excuses. Every time you put something off, you reinforce the habit of procrastination. And before you know it, procrastination isn't just something you do, it's who you are. People love to say they're waiting for the right time. The right time doesn't exist. There will never be a day where everything is perfect, where all the conditions align, where you suddenly feel fully prepared. The people who win in life are the ones who start before they feel ready. They jump in, they make mistakes, they learn, and they keep going. The losers are the ones still planning, still hesitating, still making excuses while life passes them by. You already know what you need to do. You already know the actions you should be taking. The problem isn't knowledge, the problem is execution. You tell yourself you'll start later because it makes you feel better about doing nothing now, but deep down you know the truth. You know that every moment you waste is pushing your goals further away. There is no tomorrow, there is only right now. The only thing that matters is what you do in this moment. Every second is a decision. Are you moving forward or are you standing still? Because the harsh reality is standing still is the same as moving backward. If you aren't improving, you're deteriorating. If you aren't taking action, you're getting left behind. Stop waiting. Stop hesitating. Stop lying to yourself that you have time. The people who understand this are the ones who succeed. The ones who don't, they spend their lives wondering what could have been. The choice is yours, but remember this. Tomorrow's not real. It's just an excuse. The only thing that exists is now. What are you going to do with it? Pain is the price of progress. Every great achievement, every transformation, every breakthrough comes from discomfort. The people who win in life are not the ones who avoid pain, but the ones who embrace it. They understand that growth and hardship are two sides of the same coin. Weak people run from struggle. Strong people walk into it willingly because they know that on the other side of pain is everything they've ever wanted. Most people live their entire lives avoiding difficulty. They take the easy road every time, the path of least resistance. They seek comfort, pleasure, and convenience, thinking that happiness comes from staying in a safe bubble, but that's why they remain weak. That's why they never achieve anything meaningful. Comfort is a slow poison. It feels good in the moment, but it robs you of strength, discipline, and success. Look at anyone who has ever built something great. Athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders. Every single one of them went through intense struggle. They suffered, they failed, they endured pain that would break the average person. But instead of running from it, they leaned into it. They understood that every rep in the gym, every hour of work, every moment of exhaustion was making them stronger. The reason most people fail is because the moment things get hard, they quit. They start something new, face resistance, and immediately back down. They convince themselves that the struggle means they aren't meant for it, that it's not the right time. But this is the lie that keeps people average. Difficulty is not a sign to stop, it's proof that you're on the right path. Nothing worth having comes easy. If it did, everyone would have it. Pain is not the enemy, fear of pain is. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is how they react to suffering. The weak complain, make excuses, and look for shortcuts. The strong embrace the process, knowing that every struggle is shaping them into something greater. The gym isn't about lifting weights. It's about training your mind to endure discomfort. Business isn't about making money. It's about developing resilience when things don't go as planned. Life isn't about avoiding hardship. It's about using it as fuel. People love the idea of success, but they hate what it takes to get there. They want the results, but they don't want the process. They dream of having a great body, but refuse to suffer through grueling workouts. They want financial freedom, but aren't willing to grind for years with no immediate reward. They want confidence, but they won't put themselves in uncomfortable situations where they have to grow. The truth is, pain is a requirement. If you aren't willing to suffer for what you want, you don't deserve it. This is why discipline beats motivation. Motivation is temporary, it comes and goes. But discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. It's training your mind to push through pain instead of retreating into comfort. The moment you stop avoiding hardship and start embracing it, you separate yourself from the masses, because most people will never do this. Most people will always choose the easy way out. That's why they stay average. Pain is the test. It separates the strong from the weak. It reveals who is serious and who is just pretending. If you are not willing to endure discomfort, you are choosing to stay the same. You are choosing to be like everyone else, stagnant, weak, and unfulfilled. But if you can learn to love the struggle, to push through when every part of you wants to quit, you will become unstoppable. So the question is simple. When things get hard, do you run or do you fight? Because the answer to that question will determine everything about your life. Motivation is a lie. It's unreliable, inconsistent, and disappears the moment things get tough. The reason so many people fail to achieve their goals is because they rely on motivation to get things done. They think they need to feel inspired before they can take action. They wait for the perfect moment when they feel ready, but that moment never comes and they end up doing nothing. The successful don't rely on motivation, they rely on discipline. They understand that action is what creates results, not feelings. They don't care if they're tired, if they're bored, or if they don't feel like working. They do it anyway, because they know that real progress comes from consistency, not from bursts of short-lived inspiration. Most people think they need to be motivated to go to the gym, to work on their business, to develop new skills. That's why they fail. They go to the gym for a week, then quit when they're no longer excited. They start a new project, but the moment it gets hard, they give up. They have a few productive days, then fall back into their old habits. They never build momentum because they're always waiting to feel like working. But that's not how success works. Look at the highest achievers in the world, athletes, CEOs, creators. They don't wake up every morning feeling motivated. They don't always feel like pushing themselves, but they do it anyway because they are disciplined. They have trained themselves to take action no matter what. They know that the work must get done regardless of their emotions. The problem with motivation is that it's an emotional state, and emotions are temporary. One day you feel unstoppable, the next you don't even want to get out of bed. If your success depends on whether or not you feel like working, you'll never get anywhere, because there will be more days when you don't feel like it than days. Discipline, on the other hand, is a choice. It's a decision you make every day to do what needs to be done, whether you want to or not. It's showing up when you don't feel like it. It's pushing through when things get boring, difficult, or frustrating. It's doing the work even when no one is watching, even when no one is clapping for you. This is why so many people never reach their full potential. They're addicted to the idea of motivation. They watch videos, listen to speeches, read quotes that make them feel good for a few minutes. Then they go back to their old habits, waiting for the next surge of inspiration. They chase motivation like it's a drug instead of building the discipline required to succeed. The truth is, The work doesn't care how you feel. The gym doesn't care if you're motivated. The business world doesn't care if you're inspired. The marketplace doesn't care about your feelings. Results only come to those who show up consistently, who put in the work day after day, regardless of their mood. This is where people separate themselves. Most will always rely on motivation, which means most will always fail. But the disciplined ones, the ones who take action even when it's the last thing they want to do, they are the ones who win. They are the ones who keep moving forward when everyone else quits. So if you want to succeed, stop chasing motivation. Stop waiting to feel ready. Just do the work. Discipline beats motivation every single time. The sooner you understand that, the sooner you start winning. Your excuses are the chains that keep you trapped. Every time you tell yourself that you can't do something because of your circumstances, your past, your situation, you are choosing weakness over strength. The difference between people who succeed and those who fail is not intelligence, luck, or talent. It's accountability. Winners take full ownership of their lives. Losers find excuses. The most dangerous thing about excuses is that they feel justified. Your mind convinces you that you have a valid reason to stay where you are. You tell yourself that you don't have enough time, that you're too tired, that life is unfair. You convince yourself that you're at a disadvantage, that other people have it easier, that your situation is different. But this is the mindset that keeps people stuck. The second you allow an excuse to control you, you give up your power. Successful people refuse to entertain excuses. They don't care if they had a tough childhood, if they lack resources, if things didn't go their way. They don't let setbacks define them. They adapt, they adjust, and they keep moving forward. They understand that life is never fair, but that doesn't matter. What matters is how you respond. Most people are addicted to excuses because it's easier than taking action. It's easier to blame your circumstances than to admit you haven't done enough. It's easier to say you didn't have the opportunity than to admit you didn't create one. It's easier to complain than to change, but the hard truth is, every excuse you make is a choice. A choice to stay weak, a choice to remain average, a choice to never reach your full potential. Look around at the world. There are people who have faced extreme hardships, poverty, illness, abuse, war, and still they find a way to succeed. They don't use their struggles as a reason to quit, they use them as fuel. Meanwhile, others who have every advantage still fail because they are too busy making excuses. Your circumstances do not determine your future, your mindset does. You say you don't have time, there are people busier than you who still make it happen. You say you don't have money, there are people who started with nothing and built empires. You say you don't have the right connections, there are people who started alone and created their own network. Whatever excuse you have, there is someone out there with the same problem who chose to succeed anyway. The moment you stop making excuses is the moment you take control. Instead of saying, I can't, start asking, how can I? Instead of blaming the world, ask yourself what you can do right now to improve your situation. The second you shift from victim mentality to problem solving, your entire life changes. The truth is, no one cares about your excuses. The world does not stop for you. It doesn't care if you're tired, if you're unmotivated, if you've had a rough day. Success does not wait for the perfect moment. It rewards those who show up consistently, who refuse to let obstacles stop them, who take responsibility for their own lives. The most successful people in the world are not the smartest, the strongest, or the luckiest. They are the ones who simply refuse to quit. They push through when others stop. They take responsibility when others blame. They work when others make excuses. And that is why they win. So ask yourself, are you going to keep making excuses or are you going to take control? Because at the end of the day, the only thing standing between you and success is the story you keep telling yourself. Change the story and you change your life. You either win or you lose. There is no middle ground. Life does not reward people for trying, for thinking about success, or for making excuses about why they couldn't make it. Life rewards those who take action, those who fight, those who push through every obstacle without stopping. The harsh reality is that you are either moving forward or falling behind. If you are not winning, you are losing. Most people like to believe in the illusion of being in progress forever. They tell themselves they are working on it, that they are trying, that they will get there eventually. But in the real world, progress without results is meaningless. You don't get credit for trying. No one cares how hard you worked if you have nothing to show for it. Winners understand this, and that's why they do not stop until they achieve real success. The problem with most people is that they allow themselves to accept mediocrity. They tell themselves that as long as they're doing better than before, they're fine. But life doesn't measure better. Life measures results. You are either financially free or you're not. You are either in shape or you're not. You either have the life you want or you don't. There is no gray area. And people who fail to understand this spend their whole lives being almost successful, but never truly making it. The difference between winners and losers is mindset. Losers look for comfort, winners look for victory. Losers accept small improvements as a reason to slow down. Winners use small improvements as a reason to push even harder. Losers convince themselves that at least they tried, while winners refuse to accept anything less than domination. That's why the winners keep winning. It's why they build empires while everyone else struggles just to survive. People love to tell themselves that success is complicated. They act like it's some mystery that only a few lucky people figure out. But the truth is, success is simple. Do the work, do it relentlessly, and don't stop until you win. That's it. There are no secrets, no shortcuts, no magic formulas. It all comes down to who is willing to push further, work harder, and keep going when others quit. Most people lose because they quit too early. They convince themselves they've done enough and expect rewards to come. But winners know there is no such thing as enough. They keep going until they get the result. They understand that life only pays those who refuse to accept failure. Losers stop when they're tired. Winners stop when they've won. Every second you hesitate, someone else is getting ahead of you. Every time you take a break, someone else is outworking you. Every time you let yourself believe that progress is enough, someone else is proving that only results matter. The world is a battlefield, and in a battle there are only two outcomes. You win or you lose. No one remembers second place. No one cares about how hard you tried. The only thing that matters is whether or not you came out on top. This is why only a small percentage of people ever make it, because most are too weak to push through. They let fear, doubt, and excuses hold them back. They choose comfort over victory, but the elite, the real winners, they don't stop, they don't accept failure, they don't wait for motivation. They wake up every day and do whatever it takes to get ahead. So ask yourself right now, are you winning or are you losing? There is no in between. If you are not at the top, you are falling behind. And the longer you wait, the harder it gets. You either step up and take what's yours or you watch someone else take it. The choice is yours.